Hello, bonjour. My name is Nikki and I like to read a lot. Thank you for accepting my invitation to join me as I work my way through the 2026 PopSugar Reading Challenge in video format. If you want a more detailed explanation of what I'm doing in this video series, you can go ahead and check out my introduction video where I explain my hobby pairing experiment and review each of the 50 prompts for this year's PopSugar Reading Challenge. I started the new year halfway through the second book in Fonda Lee's fantasy trilogy, The Green Bone Saga. This book's called Jade War. But we'll back up. Last summer, I was learning more about fantasy subgenres, and I came across the first book, Jade City, and it was mentioned as this excellent example of urban fantasy, so noted. I vaguely recall seeing the cover on bookstore shelves, and I tell myself, like, cities aren't really my thing, even though cities kinda are my thing. Then I'm deep diving on different systems of magic in fantasy writing, and here Jade City is mentioned again, and this time it's mentioned as having a unique magic system that's like rooted in culture and deeply influential on their world's economy. So now I'm listening. I looked up the first book on my Libby app, and side note, borrow books, support your local library. And this first novel, Jade City, is described as a gripping Godfather-esque saga of intergenerational blood feuds, vicious politics, magic, and kung fu.
Did we just become best friends? Yep!
And now, having read all three, I can confirm the accuracy of this description. As a person rooted in anti-violence work for much of their adult life, I don't seem the type to have a fascination with mobs, mafias, gangsters, and organized crime, but I do.
And if by chance an honest man like yourself should make enemies, then he would become my enemies.
Admittedly, I do have a preference for the fictional versions of these stories, although the best of those tend to be rooted in and reflective of reality. Take, for example, the epic media portrayal of organized crime in the US television drama The Wire, which, for those of you who haven't seen it, offers several perspectives on the illicit drug trade as it takes place in Baltimore, Maryland in the early 2000s.
So you rob drug dealers. This is what you do.
Yes, sir.
If you do know this show, just can you imagine like an East Asian inspired version with like martial arts and magic kind of added into the equation? Wild, right? Okay, back to the Godfather reference though. 1 and 2 are some of my favorite movies because they depict, like, amongst other things, the tragic consequences of toxic masculinity.
You can act like a man! What's the matter with you?
So in The Godfather, Michael Corleone, he longs for this life of family, and yet he loses it all in pursuit of more power through violence, retribution, and what ends up being a deeply flawed notion of what it means to be a dutiful and loving patriarch.
Women and children can be careless, but not men.
So if you appreciate themes like this, you will enjoy these books. Throughout Lee's Green Bone Saga, there are a handful of scenes that feel like a direct homage to the Godfather films/books, and only once did one of these homage moments feel like it took me out of the very vivid world of K-Con, and that was for only a short moment. And given that the entire trilogy is just shy of 2,000 pages, I think that's pretty amazing. Once I started Jade City, I put Jade War on hold at the library, and I only managed the first 4 chapters of Jade War before my hold expired and I had to re-enter the queue. That was August last year, and it didn't become available again until late December. Okay, this might be a 2-prompt video.
Dare I? You know what? I'm going to.
Because I'm realizing as I script out the reading notes I made that Jade War technically fits the reading challenge prompt number 3, a book that you meant to read in 2025. And since I couldn't wait to finish the series and I read Jade Legacy as well, now that book can be used for prompt number 36, which is a book about a mob, fiction or nonfiction. Mind blown. I think this is what they refer to as working smarter, not harder. Fantastic. Back to the books. Don't let their size scare you. These books are some of the most fast-paced fantasy novels I've ever read. At times it feels more like you're watching an action film. I gasped out loud several times reading these books, so much so to startle my partner in the other room, and then prompted me to try and explain the latest high-stakes event that took place. If you find yourself having a tough time getting into reading because it takes so long for something to happen, these books might be the antidote you need. I think Fonda Lee's world building is authentic and enthralling. Especially intriguing is that unique magic system she's built into her world around the mineral jade. In Lee's world, jade is the backbone of the island nation called Kekon, where certain families have used jade for centuries to enhance their innate magical abilities and defend their lands from invaders. Yet not everyone has these jade abilities, and an unequal distribution of magical abilities in the world will inevitably lead to some conflict.
Helps to get rid of the bad blood. Been 10 years since the last one.
Granted, there are a lot of names of people and places to keep track of, but that's why these types of books include maps and a dramatis personae, a list of people that are in the book. Even with the swiftness of a thrilling plot, the narratives don't lose the nuance of character voice and development, multiple perspectives, and they're flawed characters with wounds and complicated, often conflicting motivations, not to mention a very thorough exploration of race, class, gender, ability, and how all of these aspects relate to power. These books strike a rare balance that would appeal to a variety of readers. They have enough emotional resonance and ethical dilemma to satisfy those who crave political intrigue, paired with enough tension and riveting fight scenes to keep the more plot-driven, adventure-craving reader engaged. While the story moves quickly, the final book actually covers a really long period of time, about 20 years. In my summary, I would recommend these books for any readers who enjoy an epic that centers on organized crime and multi-layered political drama, with some martial arts and magical powers sprinkled in to complicate things. I'm not using a star rating system in these videos. Instead, I'm using an emoji rating system. And so for the Jade War, I'm gonna give 5 jade fists ready to fight for Kekon. And for the final book in the trilogy, Jade Legacy, I'm just gonna offer a big old green heart out of a desire not to even hint at a chance of symbolic spoilers. It looks like your girl didn't film an outro, so here we are in voiceover land. Thanks for sticking around to hear some of my thoughts about Fonda Lee's Green Bone Saga and how I'm fitting Jade War and Jade Legacy into my 2026 PopSugar Reading Challenge. I'm learning more and more about video editing with each project, so I appreciate you coming along for the ride. Maybe you're looking for your next book to read, maybe you're doing the same reading challenge as me, or maybe you're also a fan of fictional mobsters. Whatever brought you here, feel free to like what you see or subscribe for more. So long, au revoir, see you next time.